Today, India, of course, the guest of honor alongside the French troops. There's a 269-strong contingent, soldiers from the Indian Army, the Navy, the Air Force. For more, let's speak to Saurav Jha, director of the Delhi Defense Review. Hello to you, and thank you for speaking to France 24. How big of an honor is it for Narendra Modi to get, I'm not sure if you're aware, just moments ago, he got the Légion d'honneur, one of the top honors here in France. Talk to us a little bit about how big of an honor that is for India's Prime Minister.
Well, it's substantial, although he has got such honors from other states around the world as well. But then, pomp and pageantry are always used to show the approximation between states which are already close to each other.
Yeah, and we're seeing this just weeks after he got a red carpet rollout in Washington, a White House state dinner. Why is India being courted so much by Western democracies?
Well, the answer in one word is certainly not China. China is a factor, but India in its own right is also important for the world economy that is in the making at the moment. Because you need a new trusted production partner, and India is that partner. Only India has the scale, India has the technical resources, and indeed the overall human resources to be the so-called plus one in the China plus one. It's also a large market, so that is there as well. People talk about China's economy being that much larger than India's, but its consumer market is actually not that much larger than India's, because consumption is still less than 40% of Chinese GDP, whereas in India's case, consumption is 60% of India's GDP. So, so even though the Chinese economy is larger, the consumption economy is not that much larger as you would imagine. So India has a lot going for it. It's got demographics in its favor. It's got the market, and it is now emerging as a production site.
Yeah, in 25 years of the so-called strategic partnership between France and India, as for the leaders, on Thursday, while speaking to Indians living here in France, Narendra Modi called Emmanuel Macron a friend. A moment ago on the screen, we were watching Modi speaking to First Lady Brigitte. Just how close are Emmanuel Macron and Narendra Modi?
Well, this question doesn't really matter. The real question is how close are India and France? And although the strategic partnership is supposedly 25 years old in officialese, it goes way back. The degree of proximity that India and France share on the world stage are, I won't say unrivaled, but they are rivaled by few other relationships. And I can quote a few examples. For instance, India's fast breeder reactor technology had a significant amount of French input in it. And I'm talking about the 60s and 70s. India's space program received the Viking engine, which became the Vikas engine and was the workhorse for a long time. Still is, but of course, it's retired now. Although it's been modified and is going to be used on other launchers. So what I'm trying to say is that the degree of closeness between India and France has always been there. And what you're seeing is continuity. So I'm not surprised at all. Macron and Modi cannot but be close to each other.
Yeah, and on Thursday, India's defense ministry announced plans to buy another 26 French-made Rafale fighter jets, as well as 3 more Scorpion-class submarines. Sometimes military deals like this that are worth billions of euros can hit a snag. How likely do you think this one will go through?
Well, let's be clear about one thing. They have already been given approval by India's Defense Acquisition Council, which is headed by the Minister of Defense. And in principle, approval by the DSE is actually the most significant step in India's multi-stage procurement process. Now, as far as snags are concerned, there aren't going to be any snags as long as India's requirements on the technology sharing, indigenous content, that is basically industrial work share agreements are on that front are met. See, India today supplies things to France as well. I'll give you an example. The LEAP engine, which is used in many narrow-body airlines. The titanium casings for that, the other metallic casings for that, parts from the hot section, are actually supplied by Indian industry to Safran, which is, of course, France's main OEM for engines. So it's not one way; it's two way. And I think these deals are very likely to fructify in the near future.
All right, Saurav, thank you very much. Saurav Jha speaking to us from New Delhi.